Greg, what about the scene when Michaela and Simone are laying in bed talking to each other? I was told that you shot that with half silvered mirrors so that
Yeah.
the actors could stay performing at the same time. Like, can you break that down?
Yeah, that was the irony. Yeah, that was the use of a mirror. It's like an off-camera use of a mirror. So in the sort of siren scenes and looking at each other, their actors are playing to the camera. They're just looking at the lens, and usually the scenes are very short. So it's a short scene that can just easily remember their lines and look at the camera for two lines. So that's be quite decent to do. This was a longer conversation, and it seemed like a moment during the middle of it that might be nice to have that point of view within that scene. So we shot it conventionally with the two of them in bed. So Michaela slips into bed. It's a bit of an emotional intrusion in Simone's space. But the idea of doing a whole scene that way with all the dialogue seemed like it'd be nice if they could see each other because then they can overlap the dialogue. Like if we cross shoot coverage often, sometimes with two actors, we shoot at both sides at the same time. It allows them to overlap their action. You get good continuity. They can also, they're not worried about separating the dialogue in terms of audio. And this scene seemed like, well, what if this, it might be nice to do that scene this way. So the way to accomplish that was similar to what Ken Burns would use in his documentaries or other ways, or like basically a teleprompter. So it's a teleprompter is a half silver mirror. So if you're giving a speech, you look through a piece of glass and see the audience, and you also see your speech laid over top of a piece of glass. When they see you, they just see through the glass. In this case, what we had was two cameras, each one looking at each actor. So they were sitting in bed like this. So what we did was I took two separate pieces of bed, put them like 45 degrees, and you have a mirror here. So they're looking into a mirror at each other, right? So like 45 degrees. But behind each mirror are cameras looking at them exactly. So when they see a reflection, the lens is looking right at them. That way they're performing to the other actor, but we're seeing as if we are the other character. And that way it's simultaneous. It was a tricky thing to set up, lying
Yeah.
down 45 degrees and to get two small pieces of bed and match the bedding and kind of the background and do that off to the side, not on the real set, but right next to it, and do the similar lighting so we could all kind of blend together. But it was a nice way because then they could really act. And it looked
Yeah.
ridiculous as a setup. You had to crawl into this sheet and onto the floor. But then once they got in there, they're like, oh, it's like, oh, hi. And they could see each other. And it was really great. And they were, I mean, I have to, hats off to Julianne Moore and Millie for being game for this little idea. I pitched them with the concept. They're like, okay, seems like Greg seems like he's clever enough. We're trying some weird things, it's kind of fun. And then, but what's great when they could play the scene, it provided a really intimate experience. You felt like you're in bed with them. Like you really feel like you're in that personal space. So it
Yeah.
worked very well.
Wow. I really hope you have behind the scenes photos or videos of that because like
I
it's so
did.
hard to imagine like what this looks like.
Yeah,
Mirrors
I do.
always like it's a mind
Yeah,
messer.
so hopefully that there's a good description. But I do have some. I think there might be something in ASC magazine coming out with that. I think I've got some diagrams of that in there.
Cool.